Hi, welcome to my channel Abdur Instructor, and I hope you are well. In this video, we're going to talk about your ADI Part 2 test, why many fail the driving test, why many fail the ADI Part 2 test. And the reasons could be many. But in this one, we're going to talk about not making effective observations at junctions. This is the reason why they're failing. They're failing on observations. The observation isn't good at junctions, and this is why they're failing. And this is what we are going to talk about in this video. Let's start the lesson. Okay, so not making effective observations at junctions. This is why many failing the ADI Part 2. Remember, observation is one of the most important. Why? Without observations, you're not going to be safe. You're not going to keep others safe. So when you are dealing with junctions, meaning going left and going right, approaching left, approaching right, emerging left, emerging right, roundabouts, mini roundabouts, crossroads, all these are junctions. When you are dealing with them, when you are dealing with those, how is your observations? You've been driving for a while now. How is your driving? How is your observations? How are you dealing with those? How is your observations on those situations? Okay, so before we go into deeper and talk about why many are failing on those, let's start off by talking about the blind spot. Let's remind ourselves about the blind spot. How is your blind spot? You've been driving for a while now. Do you check the blind spot before moving off? Is your blind spot good? Do you know where the blind spot is? Because when we talk about the blind spot, many they make comments saying that if I look at the mirrors, is that enough? Do I still have to look at the blind spot? So what is blind spot? Blind spot is where the mirror doesn't cover. This is why the mirror isn't enough. You have to turn your head around to check where the blind spot is. There's one on the right and one on the left. If you're moving towards right, did you check the right blind spot? When you're moving towards left, did you check the left blind spot? So when you're parked up on the left, before you move off, did you look at the right blind spot before moving off? If you're parked up on the right, before moving to your normal driving position, did you check the left blind spot? What about changing lane? When you're changing lane left and right, did you look at the blind spot of that side that you're moving into? So blind spot is one of the most important, and I wanted to start off by reminding us all the blind spot. And the reason is because you've been driving for a while, and many who's been driving for a while, one of the bad habit they pick up is they don't check the blind spot. So I wanted to start off by reminding us all that do we check the blind spot? If not, bring that into your life. And not just for the test, ADA Part 2, but also you are becoming a driving instructor. Imagine you don't check the blind spot. How are you going to teach your learners? How are you going to tell them to be safe? Without blind spot, you can't be safe on the road. This is something you're going to be teaching your learners. Imagine you don't have that. So if you don't have it, bring that into your life. Make that a good habit. Make that a habit that you don't move without checking the blind spot. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, let's talk about the junctions. So when you are going into a new road, how's your observations? Say you are approaching end of the road. Do you understand the giveaway line? Do you understand the stop line? Are you checking to see if that's a giveaway line, if that is stop line? If it's a stop line, what does that mean? Do you have to stop? If it's a stop line, you have to stop, right? Did you recognize it's a sign? So you've seen this sign, what do you have to do? You stop fully, and then what do? You check if it's safe, then you go. What if it's a giveaway line? What does that mean? It means if there's somebody there, you stop. If there's no one, you don't stop. What if it's clear, you could see from far away there's nobody there, but you didn't check, you just went and you stopped? Is that a good observation? It's not good, is it? If it's a giveaway line at the end and it's clear for you to see there's nobody there, then you should be going, right? You shouldn't be stopping. That's what the giveaway line is saying. But are you checking? Are you thinking? Are you reading the road? Are you looking ahead and saying to yourself, I'm coming to the end of the road. Can I see both sides? If I can't, that means it's closed junction. I'm going to go and stop, see if it's safe, then I'm going to go. If it's open, meaning I could see both sides clear, it's a giveaway line, there's no one there, what do? I prepare the car, slow the car, go to the appropriate speed, and I make the turn. I don't stop. That's what the giveaway line is saying. You see, these are the things you must remind yourself. You must come back to those habits. You are becoming a driving instructor. I keep saying you are now becoming a driving instructor. So it is expected high standard from you. Your driving, your knowledge of those things has to be high level. Because you're the teacher now. You are the one who's going to pass the message on. It is important you look into those things. You study, you learn, and you understand, and then you go and study, you go and do the practice. What about roundabouts? Which way do you give way? You give on your right. If there's a car coming, what do? You have to stop. If you go front of someone and they slow down for you, stop for you, or change direction because of you, what's going to happen? Remember, if the other car has the priority, so say you have the giveaway line and there's a car coming. There's a roundabout, there's a car coming on your right, which means they have priority. If they have priority and they need to stop, slow, or change direction because of you, what does that mean? It's a fail. If the gap isn't big enough, it shouldn't be going. Because they've got the priority, you need to make sure they don't need to slow, stop, or change direction because of you. If any from the three they do, you will fail. So give you an example. Okay, you go to the end of the road, it's a giveaway line. Or you go to the roundabout and you look on your right. There is a car coming, which means they have priority. If they have priority, you have to make sure the car coming, I have the gap to go before they reach. Meaning that when I go, they shouldn't need to slow down for me, stop for me, or change direction because of me. If any one from the three they do, you will fail your test. So if you go front of someone and they didn't need to slow down for you, stop for you, or change direction because of you, no problem. You have the right gap, you should go. And this is when it's really important when you go to the junction. You have it, a plan how to do it, so then you could pass the message on to your learners when you pass your ADI Part 2. Your ultimate goal is for you to pass the message on. So when you go to the junction, don't just learn for you to pass. Learn and try to find the method of how you're going to pass the message on to your learners. So when you go and practice yourself, and you're looking at the observations, looking at other cars, looking at the gaps before you go front of them, the way you are going, the way you are thinking, remember them, keep them in your mind, because that's how you're going to pass the message on to your learners. When you take your learners to junctions, you need to teach them. You need to give them, help them to go and use the right gaps. And the way you're going to do that is if you remember how you are doing it now. So when you go and practice yourself, don't just do it because you want to pass your ADI Part 2. Obviously, you're going to pass if you become a good driver. If you have good observation, you will pass. So learn so that you know, I am becoming a driving instructor, and the knowledge I'm gaining now, I'm going to keep it so that I could pass the message on to my learners. What about crossroads? Do you recognize crossroad? Some crossroads, the lines, the road markings are fading away. Are you just going without looking? There's a car coming on your right, on your left. Are you just going thinking that's the main road? Because the marking is fading away. Did you recognize that? What if you have a crossroad and there's no road marking at all? How do you deal with that? Do you know that? Do you understand that? Do you have the knowledge for that? So if there's no road marking, what does that mean? It means you treat that as if it's a closed junction. You approach in a way thinking there could be cars coming. You don't have the priority. No one's got priority on a junction where there's no road marking. So you approach as if it's a closed junction. So you go to the crossroad and then you look if it's safe and then you go. You can't just go because there's no road marking. Do you know that? Do you understand that? Did you go to a junction like that and practice yourself? What about joining dual carriageway? From a slip road, when you're joining, how is your blind spot? Did you check the blind spot? We talked about earlier, when you're joining dual carriageway from a slip road, did you check properly? Was there anybody coming? Did you check the blind spot, or did you just look at the mirror and just went? What about the blind spot? Remember, you were joining. What about leaving? Did you look at the blind spot as you're leaving? So these are the things I just wanted to remind you so that you bring them in your life again. Remember, I'm not teaching you learning to drive. You're not a learner. I'm just trying to give you the information. I'm just trying to help you, to remind you that these are the things you should be looking into. These are the things you should go and practice yourself. And like I said, you've got the Google, you've got the YouTube, you got my channel, you also got my course giving you everything you need. So the course I have for ADI Part 2, everything a driver needs, the course has. The course giving you all the lessons, all the subjects that you need to remind yourself on. Like I said, you've been driving for a while. You just need to refresh your mind. You just need to bring the knowledge of those subjects to your mind again, to your life again. My course gives you all that. It talks about every subject in details, giving you the briefings so that you fully understand for yourself and also for others, for you to teach others. So the course giving you over 30 videos in the course talking about each and every subject, giving you the briefings, giving you the explanation of the subjects so that you fully understand every subject. So not only you go and pass your ADI Part 2, now you have the knowledge of the subjects for you to teach learners eventually. So the course that I created for ADI Part 2 is not only to help you to pass your ADI Part 2, it is to help you pass your ADI Part 2 as well as to help your learners eventually to teach them how to learn to drive and to pass the driving test. So the course that I've created for ADI Part 2, it has two missions. One is to help you to pass your ADI Part 2, giving you all the knowledge that you need. And mission 2 is that the reason is giving you all the knowledge of each and every subject so that you fully understand the subjects. So then, only then, you could teach the learners because you have the knowledge. So like I said, the course giving you everything you need. It has more than 30 videos in the course. I will leave a link on the description for you to have a look. Have a look and see and read. If you like it, you could always join the course. And that's it for this video. I hope the video helps. If it does, please do give a thumbs up. Please do make a comment what you think of the video, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so don't miss any of my future videos, and hope to see you again on the next video. Bye for now.